5, 16, 19, 21, 30, 3 and 10. Check results. You remember?
Yes, I have the same like 3 hoodies which I just rotate. You've probably clocked onto that, haven't you? Well done. What do you want? I'm broke, but hopefully not for long. I have I think if I unless I don't screw this one up as well, finally secured something a little bit more consistent in terms of work, because I will maintain the fact I'm not unemployed. I have a job. It's just very sporadic. Anyway, but now I should have something a little bit more consistent, and I'm a saver as well, so it don't take me long to be financially to be rolling in it, if you will. Rolling in it by my standards. If I've got any Elon Musks of the world watching, fuck off. All right. Anyway, this is 48. 1748. I know it's 38, but it's good enough. We're only 1 digit off. I'm in a loud good mood today. It's number 48. We're 2 away from 50. Holy moly. As I'm sure all the kids are saying, it's a pod a day. We do this a day. And it's just a nice little chat, really. It's a nice little morning conversation, even though, as you can tell by my eyeballs, it is not the morning. And probably other stuff also gave away. I haven't got my little photo behind me. I was thinking it looks a bit plain. I was like, I'm just in a white corner. It always drops down the little, if you don't know, it's a Ratatouille themed canvas. Anyway, I have got some Notarinos. Yep, that's them somewhere. We've got a couple things to mention. But here's a clue for the first one. Not really a clue, kind of just giving it away. LeBron James. Yeah, big basketball fan right here. I love it when the players score the baskets and they run back and forth, and they I love it when they do the dunking stuff. I love that. No, I love that, me. I do. I absolutely love it when they get the 3-pointers and the dunking, and I really like it when they alley-oop. That's my favorite. No. Yeah, that's my favorite. Blocking. I actually know the bare basics of basketball. I know you got to be like out of that half by like 8 seconds or something. You can't stand in the middle still for like 3 seconds. I know like you can call a block or something, and then you can like stand there and they run into you and all those very basic stuff. I know you can't. I know traveling, I guess, as in like traveling with the ball. I know. How many basketball players can I name? I actually, not a lot, realistically, because if it's football players, I could literally just sit here and go on for a very long time, obviously. It is weird to the amount of names you can keep in your head. A lot of that will obviously because of FIFA as well, but also just a real life game. Like I could probably name, I'm not putting myself on the spot here, but most starting 11s obviously in the Prem. Like obviously you're gonna get some teams and be like, fuck, who plays at left back for Bournemouth? But you know, basically you can name a lot of players if you like the sport. Basketball. Now, technically, I'm meant to be talking about LeBron James, so I'm just being selfish talking about myself again. LeBron James broke the record. We're going to get to that in a minute. Because it's less about him breaking the record and him being like the GOAT. And by the way, I'm calling him the GOAT. And if you're a basketball fan and you don't like that, and Michael, the man on your shoes, Michael Jordan's the GOAT, that's fair enough. You don't like change. You're stuck in the past. That's fine. Anyway, I never watched Michael Jordan play a game in my life. And that's maybe transparent for some people. Anyway, I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan. Go Nets! When I was thinking of a team, I wanted a team in. I'm speaking really fast, I don't know why. I wanted a team in not Brooklyn. I wanted a team in New York, and when I first checked, I was like, okay, so they have got teams that are based in New York. I wanted one in Queens originally, but there wasn't one in Queens. So I think they've got Brooklyn Nets, which is in Brooklyn. I think they've got the New York Knicks. I think that's obviously Manhattan. But I just thought Knicks is too obvious. It's like we're all like the characters in New York television shows support. They all support the Knicks. It felt like picking the Yankees if you're going to get into basketball or something. And not because they're like, it's not like picking Man City. They don't win. Actually, I think they lose a lot, the Knicks. They're kind of mid, if you will. But I just thought it was a bit too bait. They're like, I guess they're kind of like United in that sense. They're like a big team, but not with great success in recent years. So I thought, okay, Brooklyn Nets. I looked to the kits and stuff because obviously this is just things like I've got no other I haven't got family. I've got no other reason to have a team than this surface level stuff. So there's the kits, and I thought, at the time Brooklyn Nets was wearing like the black strip. Like every year. Yeah, let me get there. The black strip, and it kind of had like the thing is right basketball, and I get it. It's like you see it with teams like PSG in football, love making money. Like 20 fucking different jerseys every year. It's like constantly changing them just slightly, different editions and that. It was like the black one with like the trim was like multicolored stripes or something. It's actually kind of similar to this. The stripes are similar to that canvas. Anyway, and I looked at the lineup and I liked the look of the lineup. Is all I can say. At the time there was Jarrett Allen, big center. See, I know positions as well. I know there's a center. I don't know what numbers are. Like, I don't know who the two. Actually, I think center is 5. You got your point guard, who I think is 1. Your shooting guard, who I think is your 2. And then between your power forward and your... Fuck, I knew there'd be one, I forgot. Power forward, like... Shooting guard, point guard, power forward, center. The thing is, I just find, like, when I played basketball at school, and for the only reason that I was tall, and I had good games literally just by being tall. Like, I was defensive. I don't think I took a single shot in my school career of basketball. Our team wasn't very good. We had like 2 players who actually played basketball, and the rest of us were kind of just brought in to make up numbers, realistically. And I don't think I took a single shot. Like, I probably took 1 shot in training. And by the way, training we didn't even play. We just would like run up and down shit. And then the matches and stuff. Yeah, I don't think I took a single shot. Like, you know how the phrase is, if you don't shoot, you don't score? I was kind of operating by, like, if you don't shoot, you don't miss. So, like, my, percentages, I was thinking about that. I just sort of hang back. I would cut out everything. I would get the rebounds. And it's like, now if I'm thinking of actual players, I think that's shit. The players who just sit around and grab rebounds, I know they're important. That's basically what I was doing, but I look at them as like, you're crap. You're boring. Anyway, they had Jarrett Allen, the no-drip center, Spencer Dinwiddie, who I think has just returned now. I saw that on Instagram. There was Karis LeVert. Yeah. There was D'Angelo Russell, who I was kind of like, I'm going to put my... I was like, oh, D'Angelo Russell, he's kind of like our Hazard of the team. I'm going to love this guy. And he left like 6 months later, because that's how basketball is. The whole team basically left 6 months later. And I was just like, what the fuck? They had Joe Harris, who I think is still there. My guy, my favorite player. If I ever go to America, I'm getting a shirt with Harris's name on the back. I don't know what it is about Joe Harris. And it's just that I think what I liked about him, I think he's a shooting guard. Like, he scores threes, which as someone who's, that's exciting, I like that. I like someone who gets threes. That's kind of what I want. I don't care about, dunking to me is like so lame. I don't get why people like it. Like, it's not exactly like it's the bicycle kick of the basketball world, because bicycle kicks are cool because they're rare. Dunking is like, as long as you got like a free space to do it, anyone can. I just find it boring. Freeze, I'm just like, when you're doing it in loads and loads, and then the commentators are like, Jesus Christ, this guy's on fire tonight. It's like, it's fun. And he scored a bunch of threes, and he kind of just didn't look like he was the kind of like underrated player, went under the radar. Like, didn't really look like he would be just out there, dropping numbers. I don't know slang in basketball. I was trying my hardest there. But then I know he won, like, they have the little like games they do every year where it's like you do the 3-point competition and then the dunk challenge and that. And he won one year, like 2019, beat Steph Curry. So like, he's my GOAT, man. He's my GOAT. Anyway, I'm meant to be talking about LeBron. Why am I talking about this? Oh yeah, but I chose the Nets. Anyway, LeBron broke the record. He's now accrued the most points ever. It's like scoring the most goals. It's exactly like scoring the most goals. Is it? Well, he has scored the most baskets, but technically you could have more points and score less baskets. Because if you scored, like, let's say you scored 100 free throws. Wait. Yeah, if you scored 100 free throws and I scored 100 layups, you'd have more points, but technically I scored more baskets. No one cares. Correct. That's not what's important here. He scored the thing, and it was like, I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is a cool moment. It's like history. And like, to me, LeBron is the person who's always been the GOAT in terms of this area. Like, with to me with golf, it's kind of always been, I guess, that white guy. I can't remember his name, McIlroy, because I know it's been Tiger Woods, but I feel like more so in my life where I've actually looked over and said, well, what's going on over there in golf? It's been the McIlroy guy. I should know how to say that, but I just don't. I'm not that interested in golf. Like Serena Williams, these are the people that of my time right now where I'm living in that I feel like the current GOATs, like Serena Williams, like Lewis Hamilton, and it's like people like Schumacher and people like, I don't know any old tennis players, and people like all that stuff, and like Michael Jordan. But like, I don't know, man. LeBron's just always been like the cooler option to me. Like LeBron just seems cooler basically to me. And like, I don't know anything about basketball. I don't know who's actually been better. I don't know what people. I know. I feel like most people would pick Jordan over LeBron. But I'm just like, nah. I'm sure like LeBron probably beats Jordan in most stats. I don't fact check me on that, but he probably does. And he's just cooler. And he's got like, his kids are like good at basketball, which I just think is cool. And they're like, they were there at the game, obviously, and they were like recording. And it was just like, Bronny and the other one, I can't remember. Bronny's got a memorable name. The other one's name isn't memorable. And sometimes like their like games come up on my like Instagram, and then it's like they'll be in the NBA probably next year, or Bronny will, and it's just like cool. It's like the LeBron name will keep going. Well, not the LeBron name, the James name, which is actually a little less cool. Well, I guess James and Jordan, they're not exactly unique. But anyway, the whole thing with the photo was like, oh my god, and I'm so sick of this tweet. You know when you just get bored of something, everyone making the same point again and again. It's just like, move on. It's called evolution, you know? Things change. When people post photos and it's like, wow, look at this photo. Not a single phone in sight. Just 800 people living in the moment. And it's like, yeah, that's because they didn't have the option. It's not like they were all sitting there with iPhone 13s in their back pocket. They had Nokia bricks or Motorola's at best, which captured like a 340p image, and it wasn't worth it to them. Like, and I get it, the whole game's being recorded. And what would annoy me is if I was sitting in the stands watching something and everyone around me for the entirety of the match was recording and it was blocking my vision. Yes, I'd find that annoying. But people aren't really talking about that. What they're more talking about is just the idea of living through your phone and not just enjoying the moment. And it's like, why are you trying to control people's enjoyment? If they're enjoying it, then they're enjoying it. If they're getting their enjoyment by making a memory and putting it down in a physical thing they can always look back on from their POV, because yes, you got the camera angles and stuff. I could go back and look at the camera angles of Kareem breaking the record when he done it. But if I was actually there in the moment, I'm going to get more chills actually seeing my POV of it. And also, like, I think, like, for the average match, like, if you go to games every week, and for every corner that's about to be taken, every free kick, every, like, little thing that you think could lead to a goal, you whip the phone out and you try and, like, capture on your phone for, like, a shaky little thing. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't do that either. Like, that's just kind of long for me. But then again, if you want to do your thing, as long as you're not, like, bothering me about it. But this was like, this is the game where he could break the record, right? It's a moment in time, and you could be like, I was there. And you'd want to capture that. And he's, like, about to do it. Like, yeah, it'd be sick. Like, I would kind of walk away. I know for a fact, right? It's like, when you see someone, right, you might really look up to in public, and you think, people hate being noticed in public and stuff, and I don't want to be one of those guys and that. So maybe I should just ask, and if I'm polite, they probably won't mind. And they're not with anyone, they're not eating, they're just all standing around. Maybe I should. And then you don't, and it's like, no, I've done the right thing here. But then you feel inside of you a little bit afterwards, like, I wish I should have just said something, shouldn't I? I'm not talking about just like someone from any existence. I'm talking about like whatever thing you like football, film, whatever it is. Someone like really inspires you or something, and you didn't say something. You'd be like, and I don't mean going up asking for a photo either. But I'm not talking about. I'm just mean going up and like being like saying just saying something. It's kind of like that. Like in the moment, like if I was trying to be like, I'm a man of principle. I won't get my phone out. Oh, I'm living in the moment. Whoa, I'm just living it. I'm just living in the moment right now, living for a screen. But then 5 seconds after it happened and the whole thing went wild, I'd be like, I'm I mean, I do have the memory, but I wish I also had the memory on a phone. It's just the way. It's just the future, man. Like, it's what why, and also it's a sick image. Like, it's cool. You look at the old photo, and people are like, oh, back then, not a photo in sight. It's just like not a camera, not a phone in sight. Oh, it's just better. And it's just like, yeah, if this image was the exact same, what would like set it apart? A different guy in a different jersey, sure, but like all the phones, every single person in the background, apart from like one old geezer, every single person in the background with a phone now, it's just a cool picture as well. And like, if you look at his sons who are like recording him about to do it, it's like, it's not like they're sitting there like laid back in their chair, like sort of just looking at the phone screen, like zooming in, like, oh, okay. And then they start recording and they're like, whoa, 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 what happened? Oh, that was sick. Okay, let me just start joining and celebrating. All they're doing is they're holding the phone in front of them, they're tapping record, and they're looking over the top of the phone, like in the moment still, while capturing it. It's like, I don't see anything wrong with that. There is scenarios, of course, where it's like, you have seen people do what I described, where they're just sort of looking at like, and then they celebrate after, which is kind of weird. Or like, I really hate when at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea's ground, sometimes like the away fans will come in if it's like a game, a Champions League game, so they're coming from abroad, and they'll be loud and stuff, and it's like the entire section of fans are just like recording them, like, whoa, their atmosphere is great, and it's like, do you not understand when they get loud, you're meant to like respond to that and stuff? They're just sort of like recording them, just like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I hate to be that guy who's like, foreign fans in the stadium, and it's not really about foreign fans. It's more about like the club itself. And like, for example, the way Stamford Bridge is built, it's like, it's not Stamford Bridge actually. It's like every big Premier League team kind of. Like, they have just so many hospitality seats, like so many seats that are so expensive, only a certain level of person can buy them. And when I say that, like, Chelsea is located Fulham Road, right, West London, like rich area. That being said, football is a working class sport. People hear Patrick Bamford speak, and it's like, what the fuck? Wait, what he speaks well? What's going? Like, people, it's like weird. It's like, it's a very working class sport, and a lot of the fans are working class, regardless of if it's in West London, if it's in wherever it is, right? But when you price out like the average fan, because the average fan won't be able to buy expensive tickets. You're only really opening yourself up to like but millionaires, like influencers. And nothing wrong with that either. But just maybe people who aren't like die-hard fans. And it's like, if you're from America and you want to go to Stamford Bridge and watch a game, that's normal. But like, the best atmospheres in the Premier League have stadiums that lend themselves to those atmospheres. And it's usually the older stadiums, because they're not built in a way that is suited towards just a bunch of guys in suits basically watching football, or like people who are there more for a day out. And it's like, again, that's also fine. Like, for me, Stamford Bridge, Chelsea, it was always expensive. So I just got a job working there, and that was like my way to watch games and stuff, because I had like a good place. I basically would just stand there, open the door for people occasionally, I'd just be like watching the game. And that was my way of going there and watching it. And it's like, it's weird. Like, the atmosphere is at Stamford Bridge is good, but it's also very dependent on where you're standing. It's like the two sides, basically the whole of them, is just very dead. And then you got the two ends that will sort of put most of the work in. And it's just not built for that. Like, sometimes... And it's not like a fan issue, and that's what I'm saying. Because you'll be standing there, and people will like want to start chanting, because they can hear like the whole... So like, I worked in that East Stand, so you'd hear the whole like Matthew Harden, or... I've already, like, I don't even... Is Matthew Harden North or South? Like, I don't even know. I think it's North. Yeah, because I've worked in South Stand, and that's not... Yeah, South Stand's like where the away fans are. Okay, yeah. So you'd hear like the whole North side getting up a bit, and they'd want to like join in, but it's like, you feel weird. Like, it's such a even you're in the same enclosed space, a stadium, you might want to stand and be like, Chelsea, and it just, you can hear your voice speaking so loud, like it just feels awkward to do it, because it's just built in a way that's not great for it. That being said, I don't want them to like move from Stamford Bridge. I just want them to renovate. And that's another thing. Like Mason Mount, if we're going to keep on the whole, this is a very sporty thing today. And again, I've got that topic which I've banked. Again, I'm going to be doing it for a third time today. If you know, I've banked that like 3 times in a row now. But Mason Mount, and I fucking hate talking about this, man. Mason Mount, it's just like the only thing the fan base talks about. Anyway, here I go. So everyone hates Mason Mount to a point where it's like fun to hate on Mason Mount at a point, and they won't admit that, but it's definitely true. Like people having fun with it. Like they'll see a training image of everyone training, and they'll see Mason Mount in the background, and they'll zoom in and they'll just say something rude like, yo, where's Wally spotted or something? Just like, he's our player, you know? What are you doing? It's weird, like our own fans. Anyway, and then it's just like weird. So like, someone posted like, "Oh, Mason, don't listen to these Wallies on Twitter. The actual fans are with you, and the guys in the stadium paying to go to the stadium are with you. We're gonna get your banner out for next game to try and lift you up because you've been in bad form, basically." Which I think is a fair enough point. That's what like being a supporter, I suppose, is. That's what being fair is. And when people leveled back at that was like, well, that's bias. So you didn't do that for other fans when they was in bad bits of form. Why are we celebrating mediocrity? And if you want to answer all those things right now, we can. You're not celebrating mediocrity. We are supporting a player who has given good memories in the shirt, and we're trying to lift them back up. Trying to show we're still behind them. We've not just deserted them the second they've hit bad form like people want us to do. Why do we not do it for other players in other positions? Well, why do we not put a banner up for Pulisic when he wasn't in good form? Because when he was in good form, it wasn't that long. And when he was in good form, it was, yes, a hat-trick, but against Burnley. You know, it was like goals, but yes, against Palace. When Mount was in good form, it was 2 Player of the Season awards in a row. It was a Champions League final assist. It was a goal against Liverpool. It was a goal against United in the FA Cup. It was the goal against Porto and Real Madrid, and you know, it just so many good moments, as well as the goals against the lower teams. Yes, the hat trick against Norwich and like braces here and there, probably one against Southampton. He scored against them a few times, things like that. And it's like people will be like, oh, you're just doing it because you're biased because he's English and he's an academy player. Yes, well done. You've said the obvious. Why is that wrong though? Yes, support the whole team, and yes, maybe you are a little bit unfair, you're a little biased toward academy players. Why is that such a weird notion? Players that are really good and they came from the academy, you're going to have extra love for them because it means that much more to the club. You hear people like Ben Foster speak on his podcast, right? James Alcott asks him, because now he's retired, he can be open and talk about football, asks him, do players really care about fans? And he says, most of them no, because you got to understand where they come from. They're all traveling from all different countries and all over the place. It's not their fault. It's just how it is. And you're on this much money, and there's other things at play. And it's like some do, about 25%, he said. But it's those people who maybe grew up in the area, been at the club their whole life, been at the club for a long time, and just like they know the area and the people around them. And it's like, if there's certain fans, if there's certain players in the team who you know care more about the club and care more about the fans than other players, as a fan, you actively know that, and they're good at football, but just in a bad period, then yes, you can't help but have a natural bias, and it shouldn't be a huge one, but they can get away with murder. But a bias to those players, that is normal. And most players are only calling for Mount to be benched, which, yeah, that's fair enough. He's not been well. People who are just like shouting absolute abuse, get out of my club, mediocrity, like he's never been anything. It's just like a joke. There's so many examples of our players in the league where the same thing has happened and then they come back and they're great. There's the obvious ones like Rashford, but there's also players like Luke Shaw, also at United. And I just find it laughable. Like, I did screenshot it, but I can't get to it right now. Because underneath the comment, that someone commented, "Shut up, you wanker. We're going to keep abusing Mount for as long as we can until he gets the message and leaves the club. We won't stop till Mason's gone." And shouldn't it be, we won't stop until... Even if you are going to like shout abuse at a player, and I don't know, even players I didn't have fun with. That sounded weird. I haven't enjoyed at the club that much like Ziyech. I've never felt like I need to get out and just hurl abuse to these people, right? Under every Instagram post like a weirdo. But like, even if you are, shouldn't your logic not be, I won't stop this abuse until they leave the club? Shouldn't it be, I won't stop this abuse until they play well or improve or whatever, or leave? But you're just like, no. Even if they start scoring goals, I don't care. My abuse won't stop till they leave my club. And it's like, yeah, your club, yeah, you're a Chelsea fan, you put your whole life. But like, it's not your club. You know, and when people say like, get out of my club, it's like, okay, yeah, it is your club, but it's also like millions of other people's clubs. It's also their club. You know, it's also, if you want to be technical about it, none of our clubs, if you want to talk about it on the actual level, which is going on here about the amount of money in football and shit like that. So, yeah, course. Yeah, sorry. I just feel like I had to take my weekly time out of my day to talk about Mason Mount. And, you know, Mason Mount will return to good form. I do truly believe that. And when he does, it's going to feel really good because obviously he'll be scoring again. We'll have one of our, you know, good players back to playing well, which will be good because, by the way, all of our players have been playing badly, by the way. It's not just Mount who's dips in form. Everyone almost. So it'll be good to have another one of our good players back. So it'll feel good for that reason. And if he's scoring, we'll probably winning more games. And also just feel good because a lot of people would have been proved wrong, I think. And I think I deserve this. You know, I think I will get this and I think I deserve this. So yeah, this was 48 and I'll see you in 49.
Here with the kids. And I had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like a hero.